Hey there, my friends. Welcome back. This is Dr. Anthony Balduzzi from the Fit Father Project and the Fit Mother Project. In today's episode, I want to talk about fruit. Is fruit good for you? What are my personal opinions on fruit? What does some of the research show about fruit? What are the healthier fruits versus unhealthier fruits? It's interesting because in planning to shoot this video and this podcast, it's crazy to me that fruit has become controversial. 10, 15 years ago, it would have been no surprise to hear the quote, "An apple a day keeps the doctor away." But over the past 20 years, we've had many different types of diets come through mainstream culture, a lot of those being very low carb diets. Atkins diet was a major one. Now a lot of people are doing very strict keto diets. And the idea there is that carbs and sugar are the problem. And if we remove these things from our diet and eat very low carb, meaning high protein, high fat, really eliminating sugar, then our health is going to improve. And it turns out a lot of those people are very much right. There is a tremendous benefit to getting out of all of the processed sugars from your life, all of the candies, the sodas, baked goods, white refined products, and just getting that stuff out because it's causing insulin resistance, it's causing blood sugar issues, it's addictive. There's so many reasons to get rid of sugar in your life. And by this line of thinking, a lot of people took fruit, put it into that category, and threw it out the door. And for me personally, I think that's a shame. I think it's a shame that fruit has been a little villainized because I believe it's one of the most foundational foods that our human species actually grew up eating. And to answer that and really get into that, I want to take an evolutionary perspective on our species, the kinds of foods we ate, and how I believe fruit was intimately intertwined with our human evolution and growth. Now, we're mammals, and our closest mammalian relatives, chimpanzees and high primates, they eat a lot of fruit. They live in trees. And fruits are colorful and they're sweet. And when we see these things and we taste them when they're ripe, we eat them. We get a lot of these very beneficial vitamins, minerals, plant-derived phytochemicals, and sugars in that fruit. There's also free-floating amino acids, a lot of good nutrition in a fruit that's ready and ripe. We eat these things and they give us a good pleasure. Fruits are sweet typically. And we get a lot of health benefits from them. And then the cool thing is we have a symbiotic relationship with fruit in that after we eat it, we get all the fiber and we get a lot of the fruit seeds as well. We end up pooping those seeds out. And then those fruit seeds that are in our poop then get to grow into new trees. So we have a symbiotic relationship. I mean, think about eating something like a strawberry. You're eating all those seeds. Those strawberry seeds, they survive your GI tract. Then you go poop them out and then you get more strawberry trees. So we're intimately connected to fruit. It has happened through all of human civilization. We taste sweet for a reason. We have color vision because we see a lot of fruits. And we also have color vision so we can recognize facial expressions in other humans. There's lots of reasons why we have these things, but fruit has been something that our primate ancestors have as well as we do personally. We have these things in our bodies where we like to have this attraction to this. Now, the cool thing about fruit is that it has a lot of fiber in it. It has a particular kind of fiber called prebiotic fiber that our gut bacteria love to thrive on. So for me, this is one of the most compelling reasons to maybe have some fruit in your diet and make this argument to you, is that the fibers in the fruit is exactly what your gut bacteria love. The good guys, they love this prebiotic fiber. And when you get this fiber, it lowers your cholesterol, it feeds these good gut bacteria. They actually turn the fiber from some of those fruits into short chain fatty acids. They transform the fiber into short chain fatty acids that nourishes your intestinal tract, gives you readily available energy. This conversion's happening in your body and your microbes, they love doing this stuff. Why? Because we probably ate fruit for a long period of time and these good bacterial populations love fiber. Now, that's to be said, if you have had no fruit in your diet, your gut bacteria simply changes. You start to get the kind of gut bacteria that like to ferment amino acids in meats. And there may be benefit to that. But I'll tell you this, humans have been eating fruit for a long time and there are a ton of benefits to certain fruits, like blueberries, like kiwis, like melons, like core fruits, like apples and pears. All of them have unique different health benefits in terms of specific compounds, in terms of all the colorful stuff, like the blueberries, for example. The thing that makes them blue is a class of compounds called proanthocyanidins. These are powerful antioxidants. They protect our DNA. They're really good for our eyesight. They help boost our immune system. So these colorful things, they give us a lot of benefits. And so if you're a person who's looking to live healthier, I think fruit is a very acceptable snack. Now, if you're someone who feels like you're addicted to sugar and you want to break up with fruit for a while, I think that's totally fine. I think you can go on a very, very, very low carb diet for a while to correct your blood sugars, to get rid of the craving for these things. But if you're a type of person that feels like you're more balanced with your intakes and you are okay with having fruit, then here's when I'd recommend you have it. One of the best times to have fruit is first thing in the morning. I guess I say first thing in the morning, but like any time in the morning before your first big meal. Fruit is very fast digesting. You can get that fiber in. It can actually help stimulate a bowel movement, which is really great. Fruit is easy to digest. And if you have worked out in the morning, let's say you got up in the morning, you had some water immediately to rehydrate, you move your body a little bit, whether that's taking a morning walk or doing some exercise, and then you have some fruit afterwards, post-exercise or before your first meal in the morning. You could be fasting as well. Having a single type of fruit, a mono fruit little serving, is a great time. It really wakes up your digestive tract. Fruits are very hydrating. The kind of water, you can get so much water from eating a watermelon or a cantaloupe, and there's not that many calories, relatively speaking, to the volume of food you can eat. So there's a lot of benefits to even that too. And so what I'd say is this: a mono fruit meal is not a technique that a lot of people don't know about. We're often used to mixing a whole bunch of types of fruits, but fruits are so much different in terms of the water content they have. You know, the banana is a lot different than a watermelon, right? One is obviously full of water, and one is a lot more dry and dense, has a little more concentrated sugar. And when it turns out, when you mix those things in the stomach, they need different environments and they can cause them GI upset. So if you've ever had upset stomach from eating too much fruit, it's oftentimes because you're eating too much combined fruit and you need to pick one type of fruit and have it in the morning. So a common thing for me is if I exercise in the morning, before I have my first meal of the day, I'll have a serving of some berries, some blueberries, some blackberries, some raspberries, organic, almost always. If you can get organic fruit, it's going to be better for you. So getting organic fruit first thing in the morning, very good, or post-exercise are great times to have it. Bad times to eat fruit. I would not recommend you eat fruit after having a big heavy meal. So let's say you did have protein on some greens with a small side of some healthy carbs. So let's just say it was chicken with some asparagus with some sweet potatoes was a meal that you had, for example. Having blueberries or watermelon after that meal, not good, because you have a slow digesting meal that's full of proteins and like green things and lots of insoluble fiber. You don't want to put a watery soluble fiber thing like fruit that's very fast digesting afterwards. That can upset your stomach. So fruit's good to wake the GI tract up. It's certainly good post-workout to help replenish the body. And remember, you can have a cup and a half of blueberries and you're getting under 20 grams of carbs, right? Maybe 20, 25 grams of carbs. That's not going to break the bank. You can still live a good lower carb lifestyle by having some of these fruits that don't necessarily spike your blood sugar tremendously. And I also need to say this: there is absolutely an individual difference in terms of what certain fruits make us feel good. And I think we should all experiment with that. Some people may say all fruits make me feel bad because when I have fruit, I'm getting more fructose or I just don't like how my body feels. If you discover that for yourself, you don't need to eat fruit. But if you do enjoy some fruit, you do enjoy a natural sweet taste and you think that could be a good addition to your life, there's certainly a lot of health benefits to it, then I would say find the fruits that work best for you. The fruits you definitely want to avoid are the very, very sugary dense, particularly dried fruits. So dried apricots and dried prunes or all these things that are very dehydrated and very sugary concentrated, you can eat a ton of those and that's just way too much sugar. But I'd say berries obviously have a ton of research, a lot of health benefits to them. Again, in the summers when you can get fruit that's fresh, like a fresh melon, incredibly hydrating, very good for you, certainly has a lot of health benefits to it. Citrus fruits are good for you to try. Any kind of core fruit in the wintertime, like apples and pears, they have a lot of great benefits with the fiber. They can lower cholesterol. They can improve your immune strength and your eyesight. Lots of good things in these different kinds of fruits. Mono fruit meal. When you have fruit, have one type of fruit for that day. Have a different type of fruit later in the week. Doesn't have to be an everyday thing, but we talk a lot here on our episodes about the idea of getting some go-to foods and go-to snacks. So a go-to middle of the afternoon snack at like 3 o'clock, and you've had lunch, let's say sometime around noon, or maybe you fasted until that first meal around noon or so, and that stretch between dinner, you might have dinner at like 5 or 6, you can have fruit in the middle. One type of fruit, 2 apples. That'd be a really great snack. You're getting some good health benefits from these things, a lot of the fiber, the vitamins, the minerals, the phytochemicals. And again, because the fruit sugar is tied up in the fiber, it's combined. It's not the same thing as just drinking a Coke, where you're getting this immediate, easy access to your GI tract of absorbable liquid sugar. The sugar that's in the fruits is a mix, and each fruit has a different proportion of sugar, and some of them don't spike your blood sugar nearly as much as others, but it's also mixed in with the fiber, which changes how quickly that sugar is time released. So it's not going to necessarily throw your blood sugar out of a tailspin. This is something you can check as well if you're very curious. You can check your own blood glucose 30 minutes after having some fruit and see what your response is. Very interesting. Or you can also just feel it yourself and feel which fruits make you feel good and which fruits make you feel bad, or if there is even that distinction. But I recommend eating a wide variety. The more different types of fiber we can get in our bodies, it's going to be good for our health long term. So that is the idea here. The argument I've put forward is that fruit is an ancestral food for humans. We have an enzyme in our mouth called amylase that is there to break down carbohydrates. We've been eating carbs for a long period of time. And these fruits, if you're getting high quality organic fruit, you're doing a mono fruit meal and you're having it before having other food in your system, can give you a lot of good health benefits. It's also a very nice sweet snack. Just because you're looking to live a healthy life doesn't mean you can never have sweet taste. I mean, very few things taste as great as just amazing fresh berries that are full of life and color, and they do taste sweet. And that can be okay as a part of our plan. That's certainly what I believe, and that's certainly what I preach here at the Fit Father and Fit Mother Projects, is you can have these things in your life and live a balanced, healthy life, still lower the sugar, processed sugar and crap, and just be reasonable with the kinds of good, healthy foods. This fruit definitely passes what I call the great-grandmother test. It's a single ingredient food. It's mostly, it's non-processed really, right? It's just it can be right off the vine, right off the tree. So, my stance, fruit has lots of health benefits. I think it'd be a good thing for you to have a serving of it, a mono serving fruit, every single day. But if you do find that fruit doesn't jive with your system, or you really choose in the short term to go on a very, very, very low carb diet, I think that's also fine. But I would say, in the future, see if you can incorporate a little bit of fruit. It would probably improve your health. Thanks for being here, my friend. Hope you found this valuable. I'll see you in future episodes.
FitFatherProject.com